If you're looking for a wireless microphone solution for your new Insta360 X5, I'm sure you're looking at the usual suspects from Rode, DJI, Hollyland, and so on. But you might also want to consider this guy, the Boya Mini system. And while it's definitely designed as a more budget-friendly solution, it does have one special feature that most others do not: invisibility. The last video I posted was all about the new USB audio capability of the X5, which allows you to plug a microphone or wireless microphone receiver directly into its USB port. And although that comes with many advantages, one of the disadvantages is because of the design of most wireless microphone receivers, they actually stick out beyond the stitch line of the X5 and may appear in your shots. But not so with the Boya Mini system. As you can see, its receiver is so tiny it manages to hide in the stitch line of the X5 and remains invisible no matter what direction you select. But does that tiny size come with compromises, specifically in terms of audio quality, range and stability, or other key features? Well, that's what we want to find out in today's video. We're going to take a closer look at the Boya Mini system, and we're going to do some testing to see how its performance compares to some key competitors, and ultimately see if it's a viable option for your X5. So there's a lot to cover, so as usual I'll place the chapters up here and on the video timeline, but first this. Before we continue with today's video, a quick disclaimer: this video is not sponsored, paid for, or influenced in any way. I purchased all of the equipment with my own money and the opinions are entirely my own. Now, I do include links to the featured products as well as my recording equipment. These may appear throughout the video and in the video description. If you purchase using these links, I may make a commission, and this is what helps fund the channel, but rest assured there is no price disadvantage to you. You are getting the best price I can find. Alternatively, if you want to support the channel, you could follow this link and buy me a coffee. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, please remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel for a lot more similar content. So back to the video. Now, the Boya Mini system is available in multiple different versions, depending on whether you want a USB receiver, a Lightning receiver, even a 3.5mm TRS receiver. They are available in black and white. There are single transmitter and dual transmitter versions, and you can purchase them with or without the charging case. For today's video, the version that we are using is the USB-C version. I chose the dual transmitter version with the charging case, but there is also an even simpler version available without the charging case, and I will place links to the most relevant versions in the video description. Inside the box you'll find the kit itself, we'll get to that in a second, together with an instruction manual and USB charging cable. And if we take a closer look at the kit, you can see it comes in this familiar charging case, very much like an AirPods case. You open it up and you will find two transmitters and a single receiver. Now, of course, the transmitters will charge as long as they are in the charging case. According to Boya, each transmitter has a battery life of around about 6 hours. And the charging case will charge each one up to 1.5 times, giving you a total potential runtime of around 30 hours. And of course there is a USB-C charging port on the base of the charging case. As you can see, the Boya Mini really lives up to its name. The receiver and the transmitter are both truly tiny and very simple in their design. The receiver has, of course, a USB-C plug, and just a single button, more on that in a moment. And the transmitter also has just a single button and a status light that you can see here flashing. There is a basic foam cover over the microphone. There is no furry wind muff included. And on the back you'll find a clip for clipping onto your clothing. And the good news is they made this clip out of metal, so if you have a magnet or magnetic pendant such as this one, it can also be used to secure the microphone, and the hold is very firm. The button on the remote is used mainly for enabling or disabling the noise reduction system, but can also be used to power on and off the transmitter or to enter pairing mode if necessary. The receiver also has a single button. This can be used to adjust the strength of noise reduction, and there are also some voice modification features that you can enable using this button. Using the Boya Mini together with your X5 is pretty straightforward. We simply open up the USB port cover, plug in the receiver, and you will see very quickly the microphone icon appears in the top right, and you can also see the audio level indicator at the top. As far as configuration is concerned, there really is only one setting. If you go into the menu and scroll over to audio settings, when you scroll down the page, first of all you will see that the external microphone is connected, and if you enable gain adjustment, you will be able to adjust the gain of the external microphone from +6 dB to -18 dB. Now, one thing you will probably notice is that the audio level meter has a tendency to freeze, as it has done right now. But be aware, this has nothing to do with the Boya microphone. This is a frequent occurrence with any USB microphone you plug into the X5. Hopefully that's something that can be resolved with a firmware update. When plugged in, the receiver, of course, is drawing power from your X5. You can see on the status light of the transmitter that the two are connected. It is now solid blue. If I enable noise reduction by pressing the button on the transmitter, you can see the light turns green. Pressing it again disables noise reduction and it returns to blue. Now, when noise reduction is turned on, in addition to the light on the transmitter turning green, so too does the status light on the receiver. And when in this mode, you can also adjust the strength of noise reduction. A single press, you'll notice it flashed twice, indicating medium strength. Another press, it flashes 3 times, indicating high strength. Or a single flash is for the lowest strength of noise reduction. The high level of noise reduction is the default. Okay, time for some fun. Let's do some testing. What we're going to do is compare the Boya Mini against 2 competitors. We're going to listen to the performance indoors, outdoors. We're going to look at range and stability, noise cancellation, and even a motovlogging test. But to eliminate any prejudices and make it a little bit more fun, we're going to do it blind. So I'm not going to tell you which microphone is which. So take a listen and decide which you think is the best performing microphone, and all will be revealed later on. Okay, let's start out in our indoor studio type environment. Currently I'm talking to you using microphone A. How is the audio quality for microphone A in our indoor studio environment? Okay, and now I have switched to microphone B for our indoor studio test. How is the audio quality for microphone B? How does it compare to microphone A? Okay, and now I have switched to microphone C for our indoor audio test. How is the audio quality with microphone C? How does it compare to microphone A or B? Okay, let's continue our testing now outdoors, once again starting with microphone A. And just as before, I have all settings to fully automatic and default, and I will not be doing any post-processing to the audio other than normalizing the volume. So how is the audio quality outdoors with microphone A? Obviously at this very close distance there should not be any issues regarding signal stability. Let me just turn around to verify that. You should be able to hear me without any signal interruptions. Okay, and now I have switched over to microphone B for our outdoor audio quality test. How does the audio sound on microphone B? Let me just do a brief obstruction test. Should be no problem at this very short distance. You should not hear any signal interruptions or dropouts. Okay, and now I have switched to microphone C for our basic outdoor audio test. How is the audio quality now with microphone C? Let's also do a quick obstruction test at this very close distance. I don't expect there to be any issues, but are you noticing any signal interruptions with microphone C? Okay, let's begin our range and stability testing at a pretty easy 25 feet. Once again, starting with microphone A. So how is the audio quality on microphone A at this relatively short distance? What about obstructions? If I turn my back to the camera, are you able to still hear me okay? Are you noticing any signal dropouts or interruptions? Okay, let's make this a little more difficult. I'm now 50 feet away from the camera using microphone A. How is the audio quality of microphone A at this distance? Let's do our obstruction test. I will turn my back to the camera. Hopefully you will hear me okay without any signal interruptions. And let's do one more range test now at 100 feet, starting once again with microphone A. How is the audio quality of microphone A at this distance? Let's also do our obstruction test. I'm going to turn my back to the camera and continue talking. Are you able to hear me okay? Are you noticing any dropouts or signal interruptions? Okay, now 25 feet using microphone B. How is the audio quality of microphone B at this distance? Let's also do our obstruction test. If I turn my back to the camera, you should have no problem hearing me okay, or are you noticing any signal interruptions? And now at 50 feet using microphone B, how is the audio quality at 50 feet? Also, let's do our obstruction test here at 50 feet. If I turn my back to the camera, without any interruptions or signal dropouts. And now 100 feet with microphone B. How is the audio quality with microphone B at this distance? Let's also do our obstruction. And now microphone C at 25 feet. How is the audio quality of microphone C at this very short distance? Also, how does it handle obstructions at this distance? If I turn my back to the camera, are you able to hear me okay, or are you noticing any signal interruptions? And now microphone C at 50 feet. How is the audio quality of microphone C at this distance? Let's also do our obstruction test. If I turn my back to the camera, are you able to hear me okay, or are you noticing any signal interruptions? And finally, microphone C at 100 feet. How is the audio quality for microphone C at this distance? Let's also do our obstruction test. If I turn my back to the camera, are you able to still hear me okay, or are you noticing any interruptions? Okay, now for our noise cancellation test. You can probably hear I have a lot of noise going on in the background here. And as before, we're going to start the test using microphone A. So currently you're listening to microphone A with the noise cancellation turned off. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And now with noise cancellation turned on. So how effective is the noise cancellation system on microphone A? Okay, and now microphone B. So let's do our noise cancellation test for microphone B. Currently you are listening to microphone B with the noise cancellation turned off. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And now you are listening to microphone B with noise cancellation turned on. How effective is the noise cancellation for microphone B? Okay, and now let's complete our noise cancellation test with microphone C. This is microphone C with the noise cancellation turned off. And now with noise cancellation turned on. How effective is the noise cancellation for microphone C? Okay, let's do a motovlogging test. Now, apologies, motorbike riders, I don't have a motorbike or a helmet, but we're going to do the next best thing here. We're going to do a test with two stages, the first being a very easy test. As you can see, I have the camera mounted on the front of my vehicle. I'm going to sit in the driver's seat, so really the only thing between myself and the camera is the windshield. Unfortunately, as you can see, I had my focus set incorrectly for this entire clip. But rather than repeat the entire test, I can report to you that all three microphones passed the easy vlogging test without any issues at all. All three were loud and clear without any interruptions. So let's move on to the more challenging motovlogging test. Okay, so now we're going to make it a little bit more difficult. As you can see, I've now placed the camera down here on the vehicle. So now when I sit in the driver's seat, I will have a whole bunch of dashboard, bodywork, and even part of the engine between myself and the camera. So this is certainly going to be a more challenging test. So let's go ahead and hook up microphone A and see what we get. Okay, so let's start again with microphone A. This is the more challenging motovlogging test. I have a lot of dashboard, engine and bodywork between myself and the camera. Hopefully you can still hear me okay and without any interruptions. And now microphone B with our challenging motovlogging test. Here too, I have a lot of dashboard, engine and bodywork between myself and the camera, but hopefully you can still hear me okay without any signal interruptions. Okay, and finally microphone C with our challenging motovlogging test. Here too, I have a lot of dashboard, engine and bodywork between myself and the camera, but hopefully you can still hear me okay without any signal interruptions. So, what do you think? Which microphone sounded the best to you, or which one performed the best for your intended use? Well, it's time for the big reveal. Microphone A was the Hollyland Lark M2S system. Microphone B was the Boya Mini system. And microphone C was the new Insta360 Mic Air. Now the Mic Air did surprise me a little bit by doing so well in the range and stability tests, because when I tested it previously, it did not perform as well and nothing had changed on my setup, so I will definitely be doing a lot more testing on the Mic Air. As far as the Boya Mini is concerned, personally I think the Boya Mini did very well. For me, it had the most natural sounding voice of the three, but in the range test and also in the noise cancellation test, it didn't fare quite as well. In the noise cancellation test, I thought the voice sounded very unnatural. Now I should add that there are three different strengths of noise cancellation for the Boya Mini. The one that you heard in the test was the highest level. I did also test the other levels, but neither of those would have improved that result. So one final thing we want to cover with the Boya Mini system is action readiness. Now, as far as ruggedness is concerned, this configuration might not be quite as rugged as just the camera itself, but personally I would have no issue with mounting this on a helmet, my handlebars, or even a moving vehicle. But what about water or weather resistance? Well, clearly when you have removed the USB cover, the X5 is definitely no longer waterproof, and it probably wouldn't be a good idea to expose this in any way to the elements. But there may just be a partial solution here. Along with the X5, Insta360 also introduced this little accessory, the all-weather USB charging cover, which replaces the existing USB cover and provides access to the USB port while maintaining IPX4 water resistance. Now the all-weather USB cover has a deeply recessed port which is mainly intended to accept a USB cable, which as you can see then extends through the USB cover, making contact. With the Boya receiver, however, the body of the receiver prevents it from sliding in all the way, so there's not enough of the plug extending in order to make good contact. But that's where something like this might come in handy, a right angle USB extender, which as you can see fits into the all-weather USB cover and extends far enough to make contact. Now the resulting solution is perhaps not quite as rugged as before, but should help provide a weatherproof solution. A couple of final points on the Boya Mini system before we wrap this up. First thing is, as I mentioned earlier, the Boya Mini system does not come with any furry wind protectors, which of course could be a problem if it's windy or if you are in motion and the microphone is exposed to the draft. So in that kind of situation, you would have to improvise with some kind of generic wind protector. The second thing I wanted to mention is that when you are using both microphones of the Boya Mini system, unlike other microphone systems, it does not allow you to separate the two microphones onto separate left and right channels of a stereo track. It records the signal of both microphones to the same track, so you do not have the capability to adjust the relative volume of each microphone. But overall, I have to say that when you consider the price of the Boya Mini system, a fraction of the cost of other systems, in some cases a very small fraction, the overall performance is pretty good. You get good quality audio, you get a receiver that remains invisible, and an overall setup which is pretty rugged and possibly even weather resistant. So for certain situations, whether you are vlogging, biking, motovlogging, whatever the case may be, the Boya Mini may just be a great option at a budget price. So that wraps it up for another video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please remember to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for a lot more similar content. If you have any questions, any comments, if you want to share your experience or make suggestions for future videos, please drop those into the comments section. Otherwise, thanks again for watching.